Welcome to the Armani Talks YouTube channel. I'm your host, Armani Talks. In this channel, we're discussing communication skills so you could get better with words. This episode is going to regard the mind of the autodidact. An autodidact is a person who is self-taught. And if you think about it, in this age, the information age, there should be a rise in autodidacts. With information technology, it's easier than ever to get information regarding fields that you're curious about. There's so many courses nowadays that are hyper-targeted for certain fields. There's more books than ever. There's more knowledge than ever. So what's the issue? Why aren't there more autodidacts? Why aren't there more self-taught people? There's a reason. The reason is because we're carrying old school mindsets into a new world. We're carrying formal education mindsets into the mindset of the autodidact. What this reminds me of was when we were transitioning from the era of agriculture to the industrial age. I'm sure that there were a lot of people in the agriculture age who had really nice horses, dope horses, that they took care of. But once the industrial age was starting, there were all these different cars that were coming up nowadays. And one day, one of the car salesmen goes to one of the horse owners and says, "Yo, sir, would you like to buy one of these? It would make your life much easier." And the horse owner, evaluating the car from his horse owner paradigm, is looking at the car and is thinking, well, what do I feed it? Where do I put it in my barn? What do I do this? Is it gonna poop? Is it gonna do this? Is asking a lot of incorrect questions to the car. Why? It's because it has old school mindsets regarding a new world. And this is one of the biggest issues as to why autodidacts are being killed even before they're born. We're gonna fix that in today's episode by teaching you the difference between these two mindsets so you can understand when to apply which. If you're ready and excited to understand the ways of this new world, be sure to drop that like for me right on below. At the core level of it all, for formal and autodidact education, it comes down to three fundamental truths. It's theory, it's reasoning, and experiences. Theory is the laws, the concepts, the rules of a certain field. Reasoning is your ability to make logical judgments, pattern recognition. How well do you know how to connect the dots? That's the ability to reason. And experiences are the real life simulation of the task that you're learning. These are the three fundamental truths regarding any field that you know extremely well. Theory, reasoning, and experiences. But how these fundamental truths are used are different for these two worlds. In the world of formal education, let's say kindergarten, middle school, high school, college, what's the cake? Let's say the base of it all is the theory. The theory is regarded as the most important of it all in the world of formal education. What comes next? What comes next is reasoning. How well can you reason with the theory that you've been presented? And finally, the icing on the cake is the experiences. In certain courses, classes in formal education, you may never get the experiences. That's why they call it icing on the cake. It's the little bit extra thing that makes everything better, but it's not needed for the cake. That's how the world of formal education works. Theory is the most important, reasoning is the next most important, and experiences are important, but you could live without it. Formal education. The world of autodidact, it's completely flipped. The experiences is the base, it's the cake. And then next up is reasoning. How well are you able to reason from your first-hand experiences? And finally, the icing on the cake is the theory. You may not always get the theory, but once you do get the theory, excellent, perfect. So let me give you two real-world examples so you can understand it on a deeper level. In formal education, in context of my life, it was electrical engineering for me. I got my bachelor's degree in electrical engineering, and for the first year or two, I was learning a whole bunch of theory regarding capacitors, regarding diodes, the formula for power, all the lectures, books, and all that. The cake, the theory. Next, in order to pass my classes, I needed to be able to do homework and tests which measured my reasoning through the theory. Armani, how well do you know these formulas? Can you calculate a farad? Can you calculate the volts? All these tests. So that was my first 2 years in electrical engineering. Finally, my last 2 years, I finally got some real world experience. I got a senior design project, built a radio, and I was able to see how a capacitor worked, how a diode worked, how the formula for power worked in real world. But you're seeing the order of importance: theory, reasoning, and experiences. Flip that. One thing that I'm an autodidact in is in the world of public speaking. The way that I initially started was by joining a Toastmasters near me. And a Toastmasters is a public speaking club that's global. And when I joined that club, I got real world experience by giving speeches. And by getting that real world experience, I was able to reason through my experiences. Okay, I'm feeling this way. That means I have speech anxiety. Okay, that audience member looks a little rude. This one seems nice. Okay, blah, blah, blah. This is how I build a speech. I was able to do a lot of reasoning through my personal experiences. As a few years went on by, I finally discovered this book, which is called No Fear Speaking by Joe Yazbek. Phenomenal book. And he was actually my public speaking mentor last year. We worked together for a couple of months. I'll link the description with the book. But in the book, he starts to cover a lot of concepts regarding public speaking that matched my experiences. And it was the icing on the cake, because this was the first time where I saw firsthand that there was theory regarding this field that I thought was only unique to me. And when you get the theory and you have personal experiences to match it with the theory, your reasoning sharpens even more. The information in the book took up a whole new life. So that's how I was able to be an autodidact. Do you see the difference? It seems like a small difference, but it's extremely profound. When you are basing theory as your cake and you're trying to take it into the world of being an autodidact, there's a big chance that you're going to have analysis paralysis, you're going to overthink, you're not going to be a doer. Like I just said, in the world of autodidact, it's not like we vilify theory. We may get a little bit of theory to get started, but what means the most for us is the experience. If you want to learn how to cook, go on, watch whatever video you need to watch, but then start cooking. If you want to learn public speaking, watch a few videos on how speech building works, but then go to a Toastmasters, start giving speeches. If you want to learn how to build muscles, watch a few videos on nutrition and working out, but then take your ass to the gym. The autodidact does first and asks questions later. This seems counterintuitive, but this is how it works for the world of the autodidact. You need guts. You need to have some courage. You need to have the propensity to fail, because you're going to be doing a whole lot of failing. But this failing is good because you're building more experiences, and the more experiences that you're building, the sharper that your reasoning muscle gets. So once you do get the theory later on, it truly does serve as the icing on the cake. People that get the most value out of my videos have at least done their best to record a YouTube video if they're thinking about starting a YouTube channel. So once they do watch my YouTube video regarding how to tell stories, it takes up a whole different light. This entire video is not me shitting on formal education, by the way. I actually think you should leverage the two worlds. So if you are in college right now, or if you have a college education, bring it into the world of the autodidact. Let this be your experiences that you can base more reasoning off. When I started public speaking, my engineering background helped me out tremendously because I was able to think clearer. I was able to understand how physical components worked. And at this point, with public speaking, it's a game of understanding how human components work. So see how you can incorporate your formal education into the world of autodidact. If you're creative, you'll realize that any education that you get, eventually it starts webbing together. So bring it into the world of the autodidact. You're going to already start off with experiences. There's no such thing as a completely blank slate in the world of education. All knowledge compounds. All knowledge connects with one another. So start off with that experience, build more real-world experience, exercise your judgment, and then read the books, watch the videos, read the vlogs later. Because with those experiences, the information is going to take up a brand new life. That's the mindset of an autodidact. Experiences first, reasoning second, and theory is just the icing on the cake. If you enjoyed today's episode and you want more content like this in regards to mindset, communication skills, and learning, be sure to check out my free daily newsletter where I drop an email daily to help you level up. The link will be in the description box right on below. Thank you for joining the Armani Talks YouTube channel, and I'll catch you on the next episode.